So, Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Part 2 just ended about a few days ago, with a rather different ending from the entire show, it seems. Okay, so this episode might contain some spoilers for the show, the ending, and these are really just my opinions about the ending and why it is very destructive for anything Mushoku Tensei had planned, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna delve right into it and start. Okay, so the season started off very well. We now got to see the new and budding life that Rudius now lives, and it's an everyday challenge, and everything is so unique. And Rudius is living a very nice life, and the show doesn't make it boring any way. There's an episode where they search for a house. There's 2 to 3 episodes where Rudius tries to learn how to be a big brother and how to help people who are in bad situations. He also gets to confront some of the very mistakes of his past life, which are such good uses of making your anime isekai that are never really exercised. Usually the main character just forgets all about his previous life and here we are starting anew, and fuck everything that has happened in my previous life. I'm a very new person and all my personality from my previous life is gone. That does not happen in this case. It is a completely different story. Mushoku Tensei completely revamps how to make an isekai. It literally changes the perspective of isekais for people. That it can be something very great. It can be something very touching. It can be something very heartfelt. That even though a lot of the main components of this show as well, I would say it does not escape the stereotypes. Believe me, nevertheless, what the media tries to tell you, it does not really escape the stereotypes. I'm going to delve into this later, but some points of the show are really douchey. But the show manages to keep you engaged. The show manages so many great heart-touching moments, so many moments that get you really invested in these characters. And frankly, I really got invested in Rudius's life and Rudius's character arc, and I really wanted him to progress as a human being. I knew that Rudius may have many faults, but he can grow as a person because the people around him are wonderful. The people around him are very supportive of him. The people around him appreciate him in some ways, which I feel is kind of unearned in the ways that he's just another power fantasy douche. But let's just ignore that for the moment. Most of the episodes are really just the day-to-day life of Rudy. I don't know if the author just went ballistic or he was on some kind of drug, but he wanted to ruin all of it. And it was kind of around episode 7 or 8 where this new arc, which has finished now, started. The arc to save Zenith. Now this was a very great chance, a very great opportunity, and very well timed and placed arc that very needed some very good refreshing moments of Rudius actually going to battle and actually going to fight. Some very good animation chances that these good animators can get their chances to flaunt their skills at. Because believe me when I tell you, the animation of Mushoku Tensei is supreme. I mean, it is like a silky. For me to describe it, it's kind of like it's basically what if Madhouse Studio met Wit Studio. and made a very, a childlike type of animation, I would say. No, not a childlike animation, very smooth animations. Anyway, getting from that, I would really like to delve into this particular arc because this is the only arc I have problems with. Everything preceding it is absolutely fantastic. Anybody should watch that. People should watch that. It's highly recommended to watch that. It's very good. It is enigmatic. A lot of the episodes are very unconventional for an isekai. So many things they do is very unique. The many different perspective of different characters they do is very a breath of fresh air, I would say. And comes the Zenith arc where all kinda goes to shit. Okay, so we start at the Zenith arc, and if you forgot, I'll give you a rundown of the Zenith arc. Basically, the man god comes in Rudius's head. He is told that Rudius is told by the god that okay, if he does it, if he goes, bad shit's gonna happen. Doesn't go, bad shit's gonna happen. You know, obviously if he doesn't go, probably the party would have died there, and you know Zenith would have never been saved. And if he goes, there would still be some very big repercussions of that. Rudius agrees and decides to go, and leaving his pregnant wife and two sisters alone in the home, and goes with Elise, who is kind of Paul's ex in a way, but it's never really that explained and talking about, so I'll just skip that over. They made their journey. They made a quick journey, very quick journey. It's basically an episode. They make a quick journey to the place where the party is there trying to save Zenith, basically the demon continent. And this is the part where I really liked in the journey, where okay, actually this is a point where I'll consider later on. They get to Zenith, and we have Paul, who is very broken by the looks of it. He is very distraught, hopeless, and out of life, it looks like. He feels distraught, he doesn't know what to do, he's very sad in the basic terms, in layman's terms. And he tries to save Zenith many times, but to no avail. And here comes Rudius, and a shining hope comes in Paul's eyes. And I gotta tell you, it was very endearing to see that. Seeing Paul come from a very douchey character to still a douchebag, but a much better written character than, I'll go as far to say Rudius. I mean, Rudius's character hasn't really progressed from season 1 except for just being a bit more mature and, you know, just the things that happen with age. I'm not gonna say that any monumental change in his character happened except for losing him potentially, but that happened in last season. We're talking about this season. In this season, Rudius is a very normal character. His character arc is basically flat. It doesn't really go through monumental changes. He faces his past, but he doesn't resolve anything with it. He just sees that, oh yeah, I have not really grown. Oh, anyway, let's fuck my wife again. It's not really that special to say about, because his character arc, even though it's hinted at a bit, okay, before I go shitting on his character arc, I think the build-up is pretty nice. They build it up with Norn's insecurities, and reflecting it as, oh, this was like basically Rudius's insecurities in his previous life. That was such a great way to one, develop actual characters, and number two, to actually show the character flaws in Rudy. That was great from the writers writer's option. That's such a great move for a writer anyway. And I really appreciate how he went with it. And the build-up doesn't really stop. We get hints throughout the show where he is actually where he looks like, oh, his character arc just needs one trigger for it to just set off and actually begin the final and first stage of his character arc, it seems. And I really think it's pretty great in this season. The build-up is pretty done great, and now the only thing left is actually going into the labyrinth and saving Zenith, where now a shocking revelation is passed down to Rudius that his master, Roxy, which he hasn't seen in years, who he admires like a master, who he loves as his mentor, as someone who he really looks up to, may have died. And that is so distraughtful for him that he doesn't want to see the only master and one of the few figures he looks up to die. Very natural. No problem with there. Like, it would be pretty wrong if I had a problem, I think. Then they go to the labyrinth, and lo and behold, Rudy saves Roxy. And something very interesting happens. Roxy develops feelings for Rudy. Seeing the little child mature into an absolute mature adult, and him actually functioning, and him being so brave and mature and so upright, makes her so happy and develops some romantic feelings in her that she never had before. And basically, she gets to see her ideal love in front of her, as in the form of her student. Kind of creepy though, that you would really love your student like that. But it's Mushoku Tensei. It's an isekai. That can happen. But yeah, you know, that shit can happen. I mean, I think it's a very dumb take actually, where it's like, okay, the master sees their student as very mature and developed, and now they just want their dick. So it's kind of weird. Why would that development just suddenly take place? I mean, once she knows that, oh, that is Rudy, then she would probably lose those feelings, but no, she doesn't. And she doesn't even recognize Rudy, so it's kind of like, oh, that's horrible. Like, I mean, it makes no sense in my mind, but I mean, I don't know, it's passable, it's alright. I think that was a point where I really was like, oh, this can be a really good setup for Rudy's character arc. Oh, how wrong was I? So, now we enter into the final episodes of this series, of the season. The party goes to save Zenith. In the meanwhile process, trying to save Rudy, Paul passes away. A very emotional moment, which was which was appropriately released on Father's Day. Wasn't that amazing? But, you know, now is probably the time to stop the series, but no, the author has some plans. The author has more things for the series. What could it be? And as we progress into the next episode, not even 5 minutes passed, and we see Rudy distraught and broken from the passing of his father. He is extremely saddened and feels such deep regret from losing such an important person. And he blames himself a lot because he really feels that he hasn't changed from his previous life again. Oh! His master just fucked him. His master just rode him. They went deep at the Viagra Hills. They just did that. Yeah, that happened. Okay, fuck the character arc. What the fuck? What the fuck? I am sorry, but what the fuck? The saddening part that I was talking to you guys about wasn't even 1 minute. That didn't even last 30 seconds, I think. Roxy just came on and was like, hey, lie down. Why? Why would you do this? Why would you ever think this would be a very nice progression? This makes no sense. None of this makes sense. None of this at all is a good way to progress a character arc. This is not a good way. This is not how you write a character drama. You literally chucked that character arc away into the garage and was like, hey guys, how about a harem? And you know what? The fans fucking said yes. So this is on you, you bitches. This is on you, you cunts. You fucking did this. You did this. You did not allow a character arc. You were the ones who praised this man of doing this absolute insanity. This is garbage. This is not how you do anything. This is why? Why would this happen? But okay. Okay, let's calm down. Let's actually see Rudius's reaction to him just banging his bathrobe. I mean, it was a very emotionally vulnerable situation. Okay, before I say this, Roxy knew everything that was going on in Rudius's life. She knew he had a wife. She knew he was very distraught. He was emotionally vulnerable, and she took advantage of the situation. She knew this was the best time to get the D. What the fuck? Why? Oh my god! She is such a bitch! This cunt! Oh my god, but okay, that's fine. Rudius is probably against this, right? No! He loves her now! Oh great! Something that was never hinted at before this show started. Before this incident took place, before the sex happened, before they shagged, before they even fucking met again. This was never hinted at. And if somebody says that, oh no, he actually worships her, so it actually makes sense, shut the fuck up. It doesn't. It makes no sense. Because worshipping someone as an idol, worshipping someone as a master, as someone you really look up to and you really admire what they are able to do, is very different from loving them like a partner or like a wife. That is very different. Those are two very different feelings, and those are two very different wavelengths. How can that fucking work? But no, he is able to fuck her because, you know, he's emotionally vulnerable, which makes sense. He's emotionally vulnerable. Obviously, he will look for any comfort he can get. Doesn't really know what is going on in his mind, and will do anything just to seek some moments of pleasure. But that doesn't mean that he loves her now. That does not mean that he is now different. That the 2 seasons of him loving her as a master, loving her, idolizing her as a master, it now transforms into a romantic relationship. It makes no sense. It makes sense when Sylvie did it, because you know why? There was actual development between them as a romantic couple. There were actually scenes between them actually behaving like a couple. There was literally so many scenes of them being cute and romantic and like actually having some feelings for each other. And without the Rudius, being an absolute perverted bastard, it made total sense. It was very likable. Rudius wasn't a total horny bastard and not a creepy douche, and Sylvie wasn't a bitch. It made total sense. It made total sense why these two would get together, but this makes no sense. It feels so forced. It feels like a way out of left field. It makes no sense in the overarching story. It completely ruins the Rudius and Sylvie and Roxy dynamic that they used to have. It completely ruins any good scenes in the show. My god, when I watched season 2 part 1, and when Rudius had so many time, spent so much time with Sylvie and spent so much loving moments with her, and actually recounted that, oh, she's a Sylvie who I met earlier when I was very young. That was so fucking sweet. That was so nice. That was so heartwarming. And then this happens, and it's completely dog shit. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? And oh, now Rudius Lau loves Roxy, because why not? This is a writer's show, right? But okay, let's ignore everything I just said up to now, and maybe I'm just saying something bullshit, and maybe the show will resolve everything in the end. Yeah, no. The final episode is very good for the first 5 minutes, where they don't talk about the fucking relationship, where they don't talk about the second wife. It's pretty good up to that point. You know, Norn's emotions and her actual processing is very appreciable. But then Rudius comes out with a new surprise card of like, hey, new wife. And yeah. The only thing I really liked that episode was Norn just fuming at Rudius for just like for saying that, oh, you're sad, but you had enough time to fuck another woman. So, which makes very much sense. Like, why would you substitute a character arc for a relationship? Why would you do that? That makes no sense. Nothing about this makes sense. Everything else makes so much more sense. Rudy's father dying and Paul's last few words and the fact that he wasn't able to save him makes so much more sense. And it's so much better. And this shit is such a shit show. And okay, I wouldn't like to repeat myself. Basically, after that, what's the bitch's name? Roxy, she gets butthurt. She goes out of the house, tries to go out of the house before Sylvie's like, hey, you look the same way as this person that I do, so, we're even. Yeah, we can fuck the same person now. That makes total sense. That is totally morally correct. Why? I mean, the whole point of a relationship is that the fact that only you love this person. Okay, I'm sorry. The fact that you are the person that is able to be with this person makes it special, makes a relationship unique, makes you truly realize love, and it makes the time spent with that person so much better when you realize that, oh, this I can never get this again, because this is the most special person to me, and this person, I am the most special person to this one, and that makes a relationship so much more loving. And that's literally what this season was for the first 9 episodes, and actually what whole Rudius' character arc was for the past 2 seasons, where he literally grows to be like, oh, I don't need to be a creepy pedophilic otaku anymore. I can be an actual normal functioning human being. And then the series just dogpiles it, puts it under his feet, scrumps it, and is like, you know what? No. Fuck all of that. How dare you, man? Like, how dare you just destroy everything you've built for the past 2 seasons just for fucking harem sex? Why would you do that, ever? You destroy something so great. something so nice. And everything after it just feels so forced, like Norn has to deal with it, and Norn is actually being the baby here. What the fuck do you mean, bro? She actually thinks like a normal functioning human being. Where, you know what? Paul's actually the series tries this like 2 times where it's like, Paul's relationship works. You know why? Because Paul isn't the main character. Because Paul is just a scumbag that is a douchebag that will not improve. Okay? A douchebag that can't take responsibility. That's kind of what they're trying to make Rudius here, but it's so poorly executed, first of all, and second of all, why? Motherfucker, like, you spent the whole time trying to make this guy not a douchebag. 2 seasons were spent to make this guy a better person and be like, okay, this guy is now not a douchebag. He doesn't look at the women like some like sex dolls where you can just for like my like appreciation. He actually looks at them as like certain people with their own motivation and respects that. Very nice, very lovely. And then they just like, oh no, he's a douchebag actually. He's worse than his father actually. And he's a dog shit of a person now. He's a scumbag now, again, like his father. Like, what does that make sense? How will that ever make sense? This was never done ever before in the series. This was never hinted at before this point of time. And now, this is like the most major thing that is ever happening. The character arc of like Rudy is trying to face his previous life's faults and that carrying into this life. Oh yeah, fuck that. Chuck that into the fucking dustbin. Who cares about that, right? All people care about is fucking harem and sex, right? But you literally got me so invested in the series. Fuck you. Fuck the series. Not gonna watch season 3.